Welcome to the Orange Flag Podcast. PPM, please give us the Daytona Liveries. Hopefully this will age poorly between now, Monday when we're recording, and Wednesday when the episode comes out. Also, boys, can we please get helmet reveals? I'm Nicole.
I'm Aries.
I'm Austin, and speaking of liveries, we're going to start with some not-so-great liveries. I said last year that MSR's liveries weren't that great. This year's, I think, are even worse. I didn't think I would be wishing for the AI robot to come back, but I'm wishing for the AI robot to come back because somehow that's better than Bitcoin car.
Yeah, I feel like everybody was a little shocked when Bitcoin was the main thing on the MSR number 60. It's technically Bitcoin Max, which is one of Todd Alt's companies. He does Ask ROI, he does BitNile. Every one of these stupid companies that has been sponsoring in IndyCar last year, like, he is behind those. So, it's just like, I don't...
No,
Nothing really changed with the car. It's the same sponsor. It's just a different one of his companies. It's still Todd Alt. It's just a different one of his companies, but somehow, like you said, Oz, this feels worse.
It doesn't feel worse, as it actually is worse. Like, it's... Obviously, there's the whole discussion about the whole ethics about what your sponsor deals with, but then there's also the purely aesthetic question. Jesus Christ, my eyes, when I saw these, I thought I'm going to puke. And that's not a reaction I usually have when I see a bad livery. But yeah, I have to agree. Bring back the 2025 ones because these, Jesus Christ, what are these?
Yeah, they both feel a little placeholdery. Like I get it. PPM doesn't really have a ton of sponsors on the car. Like, the fact is that it's a Porsche. That's really the car's situation. And when you're a factory team, that's kind of generally how it is. You might have one sponsor, but you don't have like random Nessie stuff thrown all over the car. And that's just how both of these cars feel. They feel like they're like, honestly, they feel very pro-am. Like, you've got some random rich dude that's like, this is my car, so we're gonna put all of the companies I own on it, but in this case, it's not a driver, it's just Todd Alt.
Yeah, it just, especially for the 60, because the 60, all the little circles on the livery are Bitcoin logos. So it just is never-ending ad placement. And something that I think is funny, so on the 93, it's pretty much consistent with like one sponsor throughout the whole thing. So there's a logo on the side of the car that's gigantic. And on the 93, it's consistent with being the same sponsor throughout, even for that. Whereas on the 60, instead of it being a giant Bitcoin, it's a giant Acura logo. So it almost feels like, hey, we still need a spot for another sponsor. And so until we get another sponsor, we're just throwing a giant Acura logo here. And I think it's also funny because when you talk about the 60 versus the 93, it's very well known that the 93 is more so the car that Honda backs than the 60. The 60 is more MSR backed, and the 93 is more Honda backed. So for the giant Acura logo to be on the more MSR focused car, I thought was interesting.
Do we actually have confirmation that MSR didn't just swap that for this year?
Like that's what
has it been confirmed that that last year it was the 93 and this year it's the 60. Do we actually, because last year I will say the 93 felt like the hey, we gotta find it sponsors car, and now the 60 feels like that, which makes me wonder if which one is Honda and which one is MSR is swapped.
Yeah. Another thing I noticed too is the two circle logos on the tops of the car. So that was brought in this year because the 93 originally had 76 as a sponsor, and their logo was a big orange circle. And so that's where they put that. And then that sponsor left partway through the season. And so they just put a giant peace sign there. I assumed they were going to get rid of that. No, they kept that. And then it's just another giant Bitcoin on the 60. So they actually carried that over to now being on both cars. It's a choice.
It is a choice. Like the only there is a way. I feel like the 60 could have been worse if the giant Acura logo instead was another giant Bitcoin. That would be extremely
True.
in your face. I mean, their Twitter announcement was a bit in your face. So like, I was like, yeah, they literally sold their soul to the devil.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, it just feels very amateur. Like you think about every other GTP team, and they have an identity, they have branding. Like, I'm still convinced that at least 5 races this year, PPM is going to run, like, not the normal livery. I think that for Daytona, Sebring, and Petit, they'll probably do something special. But then I also think, because in addition to it being an anniversary year for Penske, it's an anniversary year for Porsche. So, like, I think you're going to see a combination of Penske tributes that have nothing to do with Porsche and Porsche tributes that have nothing to do with Penske. I think I said it before we even thought about this, or before the idea of special liveries was a possibility. Like, I think we could see Pink Pig and Rothmans. I really do, because it's an anniversary year for Porsche. But I also think we're going to see iconic Penske liveries.
Yeah.
We could see Yellow Submarine 963. You know? We almost certainly will be seeing Sunoco and DHL 963. But I think in addition to those 3 races, we're going to see Detroit and Indianapolis as special livery locations, because Detroit is Roger's home race, Roger Penske's home race, and obviously Roger Penske owns the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So if there were 2 extra races that they were going to do, like, especially Penske things, I think that could be it. I know the DHL car is in the museum at IMS, so I could totally see that being an IMS special.
Foreshadowing.
Again, because I always feel like I need to, full disclosure, I do not have any secret info whatsoever on special liveries.
I wish you did, because as you know,
I did too.
I love some retro stuff, to the
Yeah.
surprise of several people. So I am excited for this year on the PPM side of liveries, because I've said this before. I feel like the one they used full time is, to put it bluntly, it's bland.
No, it's pretty.
It's grown on me.
Ah,
Like, I
It's
like it.
pretty.
But
No, but it could be better.
Yeah.
I will say, when PPM did a "what special liveries do you want to see us do?", everyone was saying hippie, and I know you love that livery, Aries. So if they're taking fan vote into account,
you mean the psychedelic blue green
Yes.
martini one from
yes.
1970, I think? Oh, please give me that one. PPM, I never asked you for anything. Please give me that one. Pleasure in life.
PPM, I asked you for a lot of things, but please at some point give me Sunoco. I would love for that not to be Daytona. I think it's going to be Daytona because that was a Daytona winner.
Yeah.
But I would love it if it was later in the season after Kiffin Simpson has released his Sunoco merch.
Oh dear.
Like, if that
I
was
knew
Detroit...
that's where this was going.
No. If that was Detroit or Long Beach, like, I think Long Beach is still a little early in the season given when Kiffin's merch came out last year. But, like, Detroit, if they did Sunoco, and I could just rep Kevin and Kiffin with one piece of merchandise, it would be incredible. That would be, like, the optimal outcome for me.
Yeah. Speaking of throwback liveries and everything, what I fully expected from MSR was for Daytona last year, they did special liveries, and with AJ Allmendinger coming back to MSR, all the promotion they were doing with him coming back was throwing it back to when he won Daytona with MSR last time. And really, the 60 has consistently either had pink or blue in the color scheme. So I didn't really expect we were going to completely lose blue. I thought blue was at least going to be consistent, and if anything, we were going to do kind of a special livery this on the 60 specifically that was kind of back to when they won, when he was last in the car in some way. No, now the car is either yellow or orange. Question mark on what the color is. All I know is Scott Dixon is going to look terrible in the new fireproofs because
he already wears orange. It's really
I was
not,
gonna say,
like...
I think he brought the curse over to his IMSA car.
Oh no.
I have a semi-conspiratorial theory as to why MSR will not run pink. It harkens back to when they got banned from racing. It will remind people of that. It will have people this is the first time MSR's run a pink livery since they got banned. Like, it's an easy talking point that you do not want to give people. Like, I fully understand why in a meeting pink would get brought up and immediately shot down for that exact reason.
Yeah. I will say, at least last year, the 60 had a single stripe of pink on the top.
It did.
If you didn't know that detail, because it was hard to see in photos, it did have a single stripe of pink on it. We don't even have a single stripe of pink. We kind of have pink in the sense that one of the sponsors is pink, so there's like a little circle of pink. So that's all the pink we're getting on MSR, unfortunately. I just know if they're keeping the fire suits to look like last year, we're getting two different
There's no way they did.
I'm fearing if they did, it's two different tones of orange/yellow, and it's not gonna look
you
good.
mean like that? I thought you meant, are they still gonna have their blue fire suits from last year in this orange-yellow car? I'm like, there is zero chance they do that. Yeah.
No, if they keep the style, we're getting two different tones of yellow or orange, and it's not gonna look good. It was my favorite part of the car. I held on to that little stripe of pink.
This was a decent livery. It really was.
Yes. It was a good livery considering all things that it could have been.
Right.
But
what was wrong with blue? Like, my color
was wrong with blue? Can we at least go back to blue? Because, like, if I don't associate MSR with pink, I associate MSR with blue, and the fact that there's not a blue MSR car is crazy to me.
Yeah, blue is absolutely which makes me think that the blue branding is going to be gone in IndyCar. It was confirmed that these same two sponsors are carrying over to MSR's IndyCar team, or like
last year,
kind of confirmed, sort of. I mean, I don't know that I believe anything about this, honestly. Sorry, Aries, go ahead.
No, it's fine. Like, I just got overexcited because I was thinking of something. Like, I was gonna say, last year we got the Rockman's throwbacks with MSR and IndyCar. This year we're gonna get the minority throwbacks because it's just a clutter of sponsors.
Yeah.
I will say another thing is apparently on MSR's website, people were looking at it, and Sirius XM is gone as a sponsor, it seems like, at least on the website. So that became another talking point when this was announced, was, oh, and the rumors of this going with the IndyCar team of, oh, Sirius XM's gone to make place for this as a livery.
This does seem, based on various announcements I've seen from websites of various reputation, that this is the new title sponsor basically for MSR. Which means we will probably see some form of this orange-yellow car in IndyCar as well. They did confirm that these sponsors will be on both Marcus and Felix's car, as well as Elio's for the 500. So Aries, you're gonna see some really atrocious livery for your boy.
I'm going to be sick.
Mm-hmm.
I will puke at some point during the season because I won't be able to take that.
Yeah, it's
no.
bad.
It's bad.
I'm usually reluctant to trash a livery. Like I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm reluctant to change, but like I'm not usually, oh, this sucks and that's it. Like it usually grows on me during a year. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna happen in this case.
I'm almost expecting when we see this at Daytona for me to hate it even more in person than I do in photos, because at least with the way the photos have been announced, you really can't tell 100% what it is.
Right, the tiny details that you're going to be able to see in the paddock in person are going to make this so much worse.
All I know is my first thought also when I saw these liveries, because I was painting liveries as I was seeing that photo of the liveries, was, man, I'm happy I'm not painting the 60, because man, would that be a pain with all the little Bitcoins. I will say, the cars I'm painting for my next jacket are still a pain. So the 60 would just be on par with that.
I'm very disappointed in that, MSR. Like,
it's
disappointed in a lot of things. You broke up Scott and Ranger. Your liveries are terrible.
I'm disappointed about a lot of things.
I'm actually not sorry at all. Like, go PPM.
I'm just saying, I like the guys that are in the 60, and I feel bad that they have to drive this car around because it looks
I mean, I like
terrible.
Scott. But, like, I can support Scott in his IndyCar races. I don't need to support him in this ugly orange thing that he's driving. I can support him in the other orange thing he's going to be driving that isn't ugly. Technically, they haven't released this year's PNC
We all know
Bank,
what it's
so
gonna look like.
Who knows what the proportion of orange to blue is going to be, though? Like,
breaking news: PNC Bank announces a re.
PNC Bank is now not orange.
Right? PNC Bank is red, and I am the happiest person in the universe.
You and I both.
That would be incredible. I really do hope that when Scott decides to hang it up, he makes an early decision and PNC does run a red livery for his final season. I know that is not their branding, but it would be iconic, so I think they should do it. I'm also really upset that Scott was not in the red car at MSR. Like, couldn't they have put him with Ranger and in the red car? I would have been happy.
All I'm saying is he looked better in blue.
Yeah, but that's irrelevant.
No.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, but I liked him more in the 60 than if he was in the 93.
Yeah, but I would have rather him be with Ranger, and Ranger's in the 93, so they're very important to me. Somebody, everybody, please remind me to bring this stupid O1 Caddy print to every race this year, because I will forget to get it signed. by Ranger and Seb. And I understand I'm only going to a few races that Seb's going to be at, but I'm also going to a WEC race where Seb is going to be, where I could bring this.
Yeah.
Like, I have nothing to do at WEC next year, so I may as well get into the Joda line and get Seb to sign the 01 Caddy thing.
Yeah.
I've been betrayed in the World Endurance Championship, so I guess I'm going to get Seb Bourdais to sign IMSA stuff. Seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
speaking
feel
of,
like Drinking Game was not about Kevin this week. Drinking Game was about, like, every other driver in existence.
Drinking
that
Game was
was a
just
first,
everyone
I think.
else.
Yeah.
Hey,
That was
look, they were all kind of somehow related to what we were talking about, because we were talking about MSR, and a lot of it
Seb
was just
Bourdais
MSR.
wasn't related.
But he's related to Ranger.
And Scott.
Yeah, but well, okay, yeah. That does, I guess, work too. I was thinking more, the full-time drivers, but yeah, that does work.
IMSA recently has decided that they want to become WEC. So, they obviously last year implemented these, like, super strict WEC style driving standards, and then recently announced that any BOP talk to the media or on social media or in general in public is banned, which seems like it's even more strict than WEC's ban.
Yeah. It's just, IMSA is becoming more and more like WEC, and it's just interesting because a lot of guys have talked about how they preferred IMSA because of how more lenient it was than WEC with driving standards, but also just situations like this, and now IMSA is becoming almost even more strict than WEC in certain areas, so that preference of being like, I liked IMSA more because it was more lenient in certain aspects is really going away.
Big IMSA is watching. Watch your thoughts, everybody.
Yeah.
They have cameras everywhere.
And then we are, I guess, kind of sort of media, but we're going to talk about BOP because we're not talking about it with a driver or a team member. So we can still totally talk about BOP. BOP for Daytona, probably specifically the Roar, though the bulletin does say the Roar and the race. Looked back at last year's for the Roar, it said Roar and race, and there were adjustments between the Roar and the race. So don't think that these are locked in. If something seems absolutely wrong, it can get changed. Overall, the cars are significantly lighter than last year. The 963 this year is 1035, and last year it was 1041, which was up to 1042 for the race. The Cadillac is really, really light compared to last year. Last year was 1060. This year it is 1033. For the race last year, it was bumped down to 1050, but still 1050 to 1033 is a massive drop. Acura from the Roar last year has a huge drop. From the race, it actually isn't that big. For the Roar last year, they were at 1060. This year, they're at 1041. But for the race, they were at 1048. So that's not a huge difference. BMW is the only car that's heavier. They're at 1038 this year, and they were at 1030 last year. But we really don't know what these numbers mean because every car has done Evo upgrades. Like, they've all changed their cars significantly. The only car that hasn't is Aston Martin, and we don't have a baseline for them. So
Yeah.
one thing that is I noticed about the BOP table was that they changed the way they display maximum power. It is a percentage now versus actual, like, kilowatts. So that's interesting, and I don't know why they would do that.
It was very
And then,
confusing. I was looking at the table and I was like,
yeah,
something looks wrong. And it was just,
yeah,
oh, there's a format change on this.
Yeah.
yep.
Those little random format changes that, as we just said, are never really explained, and so we're like, yeah, we're left alone trying to make sense of things when they don't make any sense at all.
And then maximum stint energy, which is like to really dumb it down, because Dana loves when we do that. It's your fuel tank size.
Yeah.
It is not your fuel tank size,
It's
but
not.
if we're thinking about it in terms of like your, Ford Focus out on the road, it's your fuel tank size.
It's the best way to simplify it.
It's it's how much energy the car can expend in theory, because energy is all so made up in the hypercar or GTP class, that it's fake, but it is all over the place compared to last year. It wasn't even worth like drawing comparisons because it made no sense. I expect massive adjustments to weight, power, and stint energy. um between the roar and the race, because I think they just made numbers up. I genuinely think that they were just like, yeah, this seems good and that seems like it'll work, and like, because everybody was truly at the test in November, it was truly a test. It was not like, oh yeah, we've got our car and we know it's good and we've, already done, like, everybody was introducing their new stuff for the first time.
Now that I think about it, even talking about testing, they had to practically make numbers up for Aston, because Aston barely got any testing in November.
Right.
The 23 had so many issues every time it went
Yeah.
out. It would go out for a lap and just come back to the garage because they could never figure out what was wrong with it, really.
Yeah.
Maybe
So,
it was
I
a
mean,
conspiracy. Maybe it's a conspiracy.
Maybe that was their plan all along. I
I'm
really
just
doubt
saying
it.
that the 963 had electrical issues early in the weekend last year, like at the race, and
Yeah, I remember that.
went on to win the race, and get third place. So, electrical issues don't count you out.
Yeah, Aston, your electrical issues could lead to a podium right around your corner.
Yes, they could lead you to a podium. Hopefully not a win, because other people need to win the race, but yes. Podium. Sure, Aston, go for it. That was fun at Petite, honestly.
Yeah, honestly,
that was fun.
The Petite podium was great. I'll let them get.
Would have been better if Kevin was there. No offense, Larry, but
Larry got ignored for half of it. It was just Matt and Jam chasing each other for half of it, so...
Larry was up there drinking, so I think he got, like, possessed by a spirit of something. Not himself.
That's what happens when Larry has to drive 2 cars.
Yeah. He's like, you make me drive 2 cars, I'm having a drink.
Yeah, I am having the alcohols.
I don't know that I even have a video of that, because I was, like, not taking a ton of videos.
I might, because I filmed the podium instead of taking photos, because I was like, I can just pause my video and get photos from it. So I probably do.
You need to be like, Larry, I thought you didn't drink. What
I
is?
will look through
Larry
my
does
footage.
drink because he has posted wine on
I was gonna say
Instagram
he's
before.
posted wine.
He does drink, but he just doesn't drink.
And this is the moment when I pull up a glass and it's full of wine, except it's not wine.
Right?
We're out of wine right now. I need to get myself some more.
Yeah, we got super distracted there. How did we get to the petite podium from Daytona
Aston.
BOP?
You guys tell me. I was just taken
We
along
went
for the
from
ride.
Aston and electrical problems to PPM and electrical issues equaling podium and win to, I guess Aston can get podium, electrical issues, as long as they don't get win. And how it was fun that they were on the podium at Petite, which then led to alcohol.
Larry drinking, yes. Yeah.
That one.
I've got all the bridges.
Larry can win 2 Daytonas in a row. I'm okay with that. That's an acceptable outcome.
2 guys in the car will get their second Daytona wins. One will get his first.
Kevin hasn't done IMSA that much. It's not like he has had that many opportunities to win Daytona.
You know what? Have a toast.
You had to know I was gonna bring it up.
When was Kevin's last full IMSA season? A long time ago.
He himself says it was a while ago.
Actually, I think he says in his post when it was.
Yeah, I just can't remember the number off the top of my head.
We're going to look at Kevin's Instagram and find out.
What is my...
12 years ago! 12 years ago was his only full season in IMSA.
I was gonna say 11, so I was on the right track.
That's a really long time ago and pre-Porsche.
Yes.
So, let's just take into account that Kevin's kind of handicapped on this winning Daytona thing.
Yeah, but we're talking winning overall. Because if we were talking about, Daytona wins, if they won this year, it would be Matt's third.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't matter because Kevin is handicapped with this whole winning Daytona thing. Because he doesn't really do IMSA.
I'm just saying.
You know what they say, there's always a...
Technically his second season. But, yes.
I mean, winning Daytona.
Yes.
Maybe the secret is Matt has to be the endurance driver, and that's how they'll win. Because he won Daytona last time as the endurance guy, so maybe that's what it needs to be.
I mean, I think it actually has to do with Felipe Nasser.
Yeah.
But,
But I'm using the other loopholes.
Right, yes. The non-Felipe Nasser loopholes.
Exactly.
Because it is Felipe and the children in the other car.
Yeah, which, if I'm gonna be honest, the children haven't done much in IMSA in the 963.
No.
So, if I'm putting more faith in, one 963 than the other, I'm putting more faith in the 6 than the 7, even though the 7 has Nasser in it, which has more of a success rate, because
Lauren
the
has
children
done one race in the 963. One, and it was not in IMSA, it was in WEC.
And the last time Julian Andlauer did a race, I'm specifying race, because he did do practice sessions with PPM. It wasn't with PPM the last time he raced Daytona in a 963. No matter how much he wants you to think he was with PPM, because he wore all of his PPM gear, he was not with PPM at Daytona last year.
But he has at least done the race in a 963.
Yes. I'm just saying, though, I'm putting more faith in the guys that have done it a few more times than children and Nasser.
I mean, to be fair, Kevin's only done it twice.
Yes.
So it's not like he has this, vast amount of experience.
No.
He has 1 year over Julian, but he has a lot of hours in the 963 over Julian.
Which is also what I'm using as a weigh-in of...
It's very
Julian
relevant.
has less time in the 963, and also less time with PPM, so...
Yeah. Excited for Daytona? It's gonna be good. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I'm just ready for my streak to be snapped. You don't win Daytona 3 years in a row. Just don't.
I just fear that that's going to apply to the team. IMSA is not going to let PPM win Daytona 3 years in a row, regardless of whether it's the 6 or the 7. I think that there's no chance for the 7, but I don't know that you can handicap the 7 without also handicapping the 6. So I just think that PPM as a whole does not have much of a shot at Daytona.
We shall see.
If I
No.
wear my Nasser hat, will it give us, good luck? I don't know where my 963 hat is, actually. It's, somewhere.
Over the rainbow?
There it is. My 963 hat.
That one.
My one from the Lamar Kevin ad.
The one that I was like,
that
I
I
like
totally
it.
bought. Kevin completely influenced me to get this hat.
I liked it, and then I saw the back of the hat, and I was like, never mind.
Yeah, the back's a little.
The back
weird.
is a choice.
Hat review.
Yes, hat reviews with
Okay.
the podcast.
Aries, I am down for a hat review, because if you... one, I used to have the hat wall, but two, I have, over 50 hats. If there's anyone
I've got
to
a
give an
stupid
opinion...
amount of hats on the table.
It's me. I wear a hat
This
almost
is
every day.
terrible.
See, I'm telling you, it's it's a weird
It didn't
design.
look like this on Kevin.
It's the back design is not flattering.
Okay, but it didn't look like that on Kevin.
Because they knew the exact angle to take the photo from for it not to look weird.
It's user error.
User error.
That feels like the reason. NASCAR.
Yes.
Everybody is doing trucks. Jimmy Johnson is doing trucks in San Diego. That is confirmed. And Dario Franchitti is rumored to be doing trucks at St. Pete. That is unconfirmed, but strongly being rumored.
Yeah. I will say Jimmy makes 100% sense. He said he was going to find a way to do that race because it's the closest thing to a home race that he'll get. So he literally said he would do anything to race that race. He owns a team, so I expected it to be, with his team and not...
Yeah, I kind of did too. I didn't think he was going to do trucks.
Yeah,
but...
and not in a truck for the first time in, forever.
Yeah.
But also, go off, Jimmy. I am here for you returning to your trucks era. Mainly, I'm just here for Jimmy Johnson racing. The man's in a car, and that is all I care about.
Bring it. I mean, regarding Dario, I'm surprised, honestly. The man seems to be doing more and more stuff recently. He's taking a detour back to school.
He has to have gotten cleared by his doctor.
Yeah, that's what gets me surprised. I was like, I know taking part, in an event or two, something minor every now and again, but, NASCAR is obviously very
crashy.
cool. Not that racing isn't.
Also, it's not just NASCAR, it's trucks for the first time.
And it's a street circuit.
Yes.
Trucks for the first time at St. Pete, where the other guys on the grid haven't raced this track before. So we don't know what to expect, and if you know anything about trucks around street courses, it usually ends in more chaos than usual for trucks, and that's saying something because it's trucks. So the joke has been turn one at this race is going to be insane. Because of just how turn one is at St. Pete.
I don't know that anybody is going to finish the truck race at St. Pete. Genuinely.
I don't think so, and that's been the joke about this, which is why I'm like, to pick St. Pete as your race for trucks is a choice.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't be mine.
Maybe he's counting on having previous experience there or something.
Yeah, but I'm
No,
not
it's
counting
been
on
a
all the
while.
children around him that don't have
Right.
experience.
It's like I know how to drive in the snow, but when I was driving through Florida in a blizzard, even though I was in an all-wheel drive Subaru with a snow mode, that did not stop cars from just spinning in front of me because they did not know how to navigate in the snow. So it's like that, you know? Dario is a world-class caliber driver, but these other, kids that are just in truck series are not. And that's not saying anything about truck series, but they are not Dario Franchitti level.
Yeah, most of the guys
Obviously
that are in
not.
truck series are younger because in the NASCAR kind of ladder, you kind of go to trucks before you do Xfinity and then obviously before you do Cup. So a lot of the guys in trucks are young. So, and a lot of the tracks they're seeing, it's the first time. And for a lot of them, it's the first time at street courses and things like that. So that's why just trucks in general at courses like this, it's expected to be chaotic. But also on the talking point of NASCAR, today they announced the new playoff format, which is really just the old playoff format that literally everybody said they should have just, never gone away from in the first place. The chase is back, which basically, for a breakdown for anyone who didn't watch NASCAR when this format did exist, basic understanding, the win and you're in is gone. So it's going to be the top 16 through to the playoffs. The only thing is that, like, your regular season champion gets 25 extra points. So, like, that's your difference of, like, your advantage for winning the regular season. When it comes to a win, it's a 15-point increase from 40 to 55. And it's not an elimination style anymore in the playoffs. So you race every race. For Cup Series, that's 10 straight races of the top 16 drivers. For trucks, it's 7 straight races of the top 10 drivers. And then for Xfinity or O'Reilly Series, whatever you'd like to call it, it's 9 straight races of the top 12 drivers.
So like the easiest way to understand it is it is a 36 race season. It is a 26 race qualification basically to get into the chase. So you need to be the one of the top 16 drivers in points standing at the end of those 26 races, and then you have gained entry into the chase for the cup. Like, you then start a new season, essentially. You are now doing a 10 race mini season, and the person with the most points at the end of that 10 race mini season is the NASCAR champion for 2026. That's the easiest way to understand it for somebody who might be completely unfamiliar with the old chase format.
Yes, and you do go in, just like how for the way playoffs were, where you kind of went into it with points, you still go into this format with points, that 16 guys, and everyone still races even if they aren't in that top 16. But you do go into it with points, it's just a different breakdown along the line, and being that champion, you get more than anyone else. Responses online from drivers, it's as expected. A lot of guys are happy this is coming back, except for the guys who saw a ton of success in the old format.
Yeah, well, we've been here before. Like, people will obviously favor the format that suits them better. So it's kind of saying water is wet. From the fan side of things, like, it's been a bit of a mixed bag. I feel like most people have been going, yes, this is a step in the right direction, and I agree. But at the same time, you have some people going on about, oh yeah, but some people are just gonna, I don't know, BS their way into qualifying for this, and then they're gonna be mediocre until it counts, basically. But I don't know, to me, it feels like we're going through something that rewards a bit of consistency a bit more. So, in in like looking from taking a look at the whole situation, I feel like it's definitely a positive step compared to what we saw in 2025.
I think anything's better than what we saw in 2025, considering how many guys for 2025 were guys who had won one or two races and made it in because of that. And even the year
Honestly, think
before that, it was the same
that
way.
the old format could have worked if it wasn't win and you're in.
Yes.
I don't know that an elimination style format is the worst thing in the world. The problem was win and you're in, because, like, William Byron could have done nothing for the entire rest of the regular season in NASCAR, and he was still locked into the playoffs because he won the first race of the season.
Yeah.
You know? Like, there is an issue with that in any racing series. If you win the first race of the season and you do not, obviously sponsors are going to, like, contractually hold you to racing the full season. But as far as championship contention goes, William Byron did not need to do anything after the Daytona 500 and was still eligible for the playoffs.
Yeah. There was a lot wrong with this specifically when in your in aspect of it. That was always kind of a problem with it, especially because we had seen multiple times of the guy very bottom of the standings won a race, so he got in. So it was like the last race before the playoffs. So the last race to qualify, they like won that race, and they would have been nowhere near getting into the playoffs if it weren't for the fact that they won that race. So there's going to be no more of that, which I think is good. I always have thought like that when in your in aspect should have never been a thing, and it should have always been rewarding the guys who have been consistent throughout a season. So, and then another thing we kind of talked about before, sponsors. We're going to talk about sponsors again, and that's because William Byron is now driving a first form car, and we had to bring that up because we like first form, but also it's interesting because he was a Celsius athlete. I'm going to assume he's no longer a Celsius athlete.
Yeah,
I will
you'd
say,
guess.
what?
I said you'd guess so.
You'd guess so. I will say, first form, he's not on the athletes list, so if they want to do that, they can. I'd be okay with
The thing
that.
is that Ryan Hardwick's post absolutely
seem like it.
sound. So I think it may just be, that's a small company. They may just not have updated their website yet.
I'm just saying.
Rather certain he is a first form athlete.
Yes, I'm down for it. The car looks great. But yeah, that was a sponsor linkage I did not expect at all. So it's cool to see them expanding. And then another thing that was talked about, kind of like how we brought up SiriusXM, is kind of, it looks like no longer going to be an MSR thing. It looks like WeatherTech may be gone from Trackhouse as well, because they're no longer on Trackhouse's listed sponsors on their website, which became a decent talking point online because the 97 and the 88 for this year, it was assumed that was going to be like their main sponsor because that's
I think they're going to be Red Bull cars. They're just going to be
their
Red
main
Bull
sponsor
cars.
was. I'm assuming it's going to be Red Bull cars.
Yeah, it's not like Connor, Zilich, and SVG are at risk of not running the season because they lost their sponsor. I have a feeling it's that Red Bull wants a serious foothold in NASCAR, and what better way to do it than be the primary sponsor, the primary paint scheme for two very talked about drivers. Probably the most anticipated rookie in a while, and last year's kind of rookie phenomenon.
Yeah. My
So,
assumption was always kind of the 88 was going to be more a Red Bull main car, because when Connor did Cup with the 87 car, it was the Red Bull car. So I
mhm,
kind of always assumed, if anything, the 88 would have just become a Red Bull car and WeatherTech would be more on the 97, and they'd kind of flip flop then from there.
yeah,
So now I'm just more so assuming it's gonna be two Red Bull cars.
2 full-on Red Bull
Yeah,
liveries, yeah, or paint schemes, yeah.
Yeah.
I just I just hope they're inventive with it and don't stick to the standard Red Bull one for the whole year. Like it's not
Yeah.
like they have plenty of flavors to use.
Yeah.
Well, and that is what kind of was problematic with Connor and SVG last year, was the cars looked the same. And
Exactly.
I'm a big fan of the car looking the same week to week. I am not a big fan of the car looking the same as another car.
Yeah. Literally the
So
difference was the numbers were different colors. And that was
right.
it.
So, hopefully they do, one in one very, like, maybe a more yellow and one with a more blue or something, just to differentiate the two.
Yeah. Because even when they did their split schemes, which was half the scheme was WeatherTech, half was Red Bull, and the two of them
Yeah.
swapped. So one of them they had where one was Red Bull, the other was WeatherTech, and then flip flop the opposite way as well. It was still hard to tell which one was which because it was just the same sponsors, just on the opposite parts of the car.
Right. Yeah, mirror imaged. Yeah, so I mean, we don't even know for sure that WeatherTech's gone. They just aren't listed. And there's been rumors going around online, but none of them are, like, substantiated, so
No,
who knows?
we'll see.
We have time to.
So,
And on the electric side of the equation, we went to Mexico City. Well, not we went, but Formula
we
E.
did not go.
We did not.
No, I was very much so not in Mexico City this weekend, but the Formula E people were. And for the second race of the season, first, can we say it was the first race of the year?
Yeah,
I
it was the
think
first
so.
race of the year, second race of the season, first
Yeah.
race of the year, yeah.
No, because my mind was like, was Mexico City the first race, or was the 6 hours of Abu Dhabi the first race of the year? But I think it was Formula E. Yeah, they were in Mexico, and surprisingly, we had double points for the Lemon team. Oh, sorry, not Lemon, Citron, because Nick Cassidy took victory, and well, the other car was also in the points, and given the fact that this is essentially their second race, obviously we know this team was Maserati last year, but still, they restructured themselves, and it's a French flag on four wheels now, so it's good to see them having this kind of success this early time. Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the big story from the race isn't really from the race, it's in the aftermath
Yeah.
of the race, with everything that's gone on now with Dan Ticktum. And
Yeah.
I will say, I think that Dan Ticktum is entirely right with calling out Autosport for what they did. They squished two separate quotes of his together, made it into one quote, and then misconstrued how that quote was even intended. And he then went and commented and, in his typical abrasive style, basically told them, hey, this isn't what I said. You need to take this down. This is inappropriate. And, Autosport has its issues, right? Like, people have issues journalistically with them. But to misattribute quotes, misuse quotes from a driver, and then delete said driver's comment defending himself, flies in the face of everything about journalism. So, I don't know who came up with the idea for what they were doing with social media. I've heard that formal complaints were filed with the Motorsport Network, which is the parent organization of Autosport. I think Dan said he was having a meeting at their head offices today. This maybe was intended as it's always in good fun to have a dig at Dan Ticktum, which yes, it is. But there's a line that you can't cross when you're purporting to be a serious journalistic outlet. We can cross whatever lines we want because we're a commentary podcast. We try to stay pretty within the lines, but if we wanted to do something like that, we could, because we are not really media. We are not trying to purport ourselves as part of journalism like Autosport does. And you run into real issues there. People are not going to want their quotes used by Autosport if Autosport's going to misuse them. And I think that Dan calling that out was not only appropriate, but necessary.
Also, of all the people for it being Dan, I feel like is not surprising at all. He's known for being very outspoken, but also he, for a lot of people, is considered problematic, and they stirring the pot.
Yeah, at least a good thing is at least screenshots are forever, and so we've been able to analyze both sides of the equation. And yeah, I'm not really I'm not a Ticktum defender, but he was, yeah, I stand on his corner on this one.
No matter how much you don't like the guy, it's very obvious in this situation that he is in the right for what happened. His quote was flat out misused.
Right. I don't care what driver it is. I don't care if it's my least favorite driver in the world. If their quote is misused, I'm going to stand up for them.
Exactly.
Literally any driver. No matter how problematic they are, no matter how much I've spoken out about them in the past, if a driver is misquoted, they deserve the right to defend themselves. And that's what Autosport took away from Dan, and I do find that incredibly inappropriate of Autosport. And I'm glad they eventually took the post down.
Especially when there's just flat out evidence that can be found online too, that what they took was literally separate things
quotes.
And putting it together. There's literal evidence to be able to back up Dan's claims of what happened and what they did. So.
And luckily we didn't have Dan's whole rant was about the fact that driving standards aren't what he wishes they were in Effie. That has played into both races that have happened this season. So we've had to wait significantly after the podium is done, after we think we know who the point scoring drivers are, to see if post-race penalties impact everything. This race they didn't. So that was kind of nice. That whole incident that involved Dan and involved Max Gunter and involved Dak and someone else. It was Nick Cassidy, wasn't it?
Yeah. Literally would have changed the winner.
Yeah, would have changed the winner of the race. It got deemed a racing incident, no further action, so we made it out safe there. But yeah, we can't be waiting 3 hours after every Formula E race to see what the results are. Especially that is not okay, guys.
Especially when it's something that happens very early on in the race, so it feels like you
Exactly.
had time to review that. I would get it if it was something that happened to towards the end and you need time to review it. But this happened near the beginning of the race, so you would think they would have had time.
You know who's really good at quick penalties? DTM. Everybody should be like DTM.
Yeah.
Implement the penalties quickly. They're not done with the lap and they're like, oh, you've got a penalty.
Yeah, I was gonna say this. Like, just take a page out of DTM's book.
No,
You
you
know,
know
Yeah.
what?
if you are a nasty one, they're just gonna within seconds they're gonna be like, yeah, you know what? Go to the naughty corner and think about what you.
No, you know what DTM needs to do? They need to host a how to implement penalties course. And every
Yes.
Agree.
other series comes to this course. And DTM
Yes,
leads it, and they get a little certificate when they leave.
yes,
That's what they need.
yeah.
Yes.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. And the mental image of all these seasoned race stewards taking that course is very entertaining in my mind.
That's amazing. We need to make a little imaginary DTM driving standards certificate. We need to make one of those and get Morrow to sign it at
Yes!
Daytona. Make that, please.
Oh, yeah. I'll get right on
Oh,
that.
that's great. That is fantastic. I think that's all we've got today. So,
Yes.
thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at Orange Flag Pod. Nicole is at Nicole on Racing. Austin is at Austin Trackside. And Aries is at Aries_Alpenglow.
Stay orange.